That's where the opportunity is. So we're really excited to bring the CMSP program to this particular segment of the market.
You're listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, the place to learn about new technology and technological advances before they become mainstream. This is the Cisco edition, taking your business a level up. Let's get into it.
Welcome to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. I'm your host, Carrie Roberts, and our guests today are Dan Stewart, the Business Transformation Engineer at Ingram Micro, Kevin Wills, the Senior Solutions Sales Specialist with Ingram Micro, and Amy Hodge, the Business Development Manager for America's Distribution at Cisco. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you very much.
So today we are talking about small business, and Cisco has a renewed focus on the SMB market segment. Why is that?
That's a great question, Carrie. I'll take that one. I see that as because SMB is a rather large market segment. I mean, you kind of have two different sides of one's enterprise and one's kind of the SMB area. And you have such a wide array of environment sizes, types, different business requirements, and importantly, different skill sets at those respective organizations. So really, you want to have that ability to understand how that large organization style works. So Cisco, with their depth of product and portfolio, can really come in and work with those customers because of such a large market segment they do take up.
And why do you think most small businesses are struggling when it comes to their cloud management and networking?
Great question. I think a lot of it comes down to, it's kind of a fractured market. There's a lot of solution options out there. It's hard to know really, first off, what is available for me to choose, what's the best option, based on reviews or just my own research. And a lot of times, what has longevity in the market? We've seen things where cloud providers may exist today, but then they didn't make it long term, and you're out of a lot of hardware that is no real area for them to go and connect to. So you want to know who's really stable and a player in this area. Also, you talk about IT spend. There's not a lot of capital in some cases to go around to adopt some of those later features, those functionalities. Sometimes those moves to those cloud models are just something that's perpetually held off due to sometimes financial constraints. And then also, if you look at sometimes because of that, you look at the lowest cost options. And because of that, you may actually be dealing with an environment that has so many different vendors, there's no real way to adopt a single management platform of them or a single way to really go and attack these business needs. And it sometimes boils down to simply, hey, if it's just not broke, why do I need to go and fix it?
Another thing that I would add is, in addition to some of the struggles that come along with products in the small business, SMB customers are asking for a very unique, different billing model. They're looking for that as a service billing model. They want to pay as they go, this consumption model. So this becomes a challenge then for the partner to deliver the best, the top, the most relevant solutions in this particular business model. And what we see is that partners are turning to their distributors and to their vendors and asking their vendors to support them in this business model, because we're all in this together to drive the best solutions to the SMB market.
And what has Ingram Micro seen from their small business partners that makes them really interested in Cisco's programs?
And from my point of view, Cisco is really a single vendor that can be involved to solve almost any business technology solution need. I mean, they've been in the industry for over 30 years. They have products that range from enterprise networking to collaboration to a dense security portfolio, data center, you name it, right? There's hardly a corner that Cisco technology solutions really do not provide a outcome for. So when looking at that, it really is enticing to say, hey, I can work with one vendor, one solution set that I can know and trust to invest my technology, my resources, my training into, along with all the engagement programs and sales motions we can do with that. So if I can focus on one vendor, a training platform, and understanding how that environment can work, that's very enticing to say I can standardize on a certain solution set. And then not everybody's going to stay in that mid-tier or small market forever. If you do need to scale and grow and maybe adopt some of those more enterprise-like practices, with Cisco, you can move up that stack. You can take your solutions and know there's going to be a higher level of support or functionality or transition plan and program to get you in those different profitability areas and technology areas to where you want to go.
And Cisco is really helping the small and mid-sized market partners become more profitable. And one of the ways that they're doing that is through the CMSP. Kevin, can you tell us more about that and the key benefits of it?
Absolutely. Meraki is a great way to get started or continue as a managed service provider. Because the management of your customers' networks is all cloud-based, the ability to access them is really easy. As mentioned, Meraki has the CMSP or Cloud and Managed Service Program, and it's a great way for our partners to ramp up their managed service practice and unlock different incentives. The requirements have changed, making the barrier to enter the program much easier than it has been in the past. Resellers simply must deliver at least one managed service based on Cisco Enterprise Networking, Security, or even Meraki. Some of the benefits include locked-in pricing and predictable discounts, as well as some back-end financial rewards for the reseller. There are also multiple different other programs and promotions available, such as predictable NFR discounts and things like that. Amy, did you have anything else to add on the CMSP program?
You know, Cisco is really focused on helping the small and mid-sized partners, and in particular, small and mid-sized managed service partners, those regional managed service partners who really own the last mile to those small customers in their area. CMSP has been around for a while. We've really revamped the express level, which I think is going to bring the right technology and the right buying models to these right partners who are servicing the SMB market, which, as Dan chatted about, is so huge right now and is really, really growing. And that's where the opportunity is. So we're really excited to bring the CMSP program to this particular segment of the market.
And you were mentioning Meraki. What is it, and why is Ingram and Cisco such a fan of their Voyage program?
I'll take that one. Meraki is one of my favorite products that I've really ever worked with, mostly because it is taking the idea of a full network solution stack of equipment. You're talking switches, firewalls, wireless access points, now security cameras, endpoint management, all these separate products, but they live under one cloud managed interface. So I can go to any web browser, log in with my credentials, and have access to my networks that I manage. And that's every product that's under that umbrella. And to me, that's huge, because instead of having separate vendors, separate equipment that all have different interfaces and functionality, I now have Meraki as one vendor who was built for the cloud, really started only as a cloud managed solution that I can go and know and trust. One, I talked about that longevity. They've been doing this for over 10 years. And two, they're taking that intuitive approach where I can go to these network solutions and have a familiar interface that's all point and click, all web driven, and manage complex environments. So to me, that's really what Meraki is. It's that simple, intuitive, fully cloud. You want to think Meraki, you think cloud managed networking, and it's one place to go and manage your entire network stack of equipment. Now, to help partners with that, I think, Kevin, you have some information about Meraki Voyage?
Yeah, thanks, Dan. From an Ingram Micro perspective, we created Meraki Voyage as a partner program that really helps both new and existing Cisco partners grow their Meraki practice. It's essentially a growth roadmap in which our internal team would be able to help partners take advantage of new opportunities with Meraki, including programs, promotions, discounts, back-end rebates, things like that. The partner development milestones along the voyage include our monthly webinars, which are Meraki 101, which is geared towards Dan and the product portfolio, a Meraki 101 lab webinar, and a Meraki 201 that includes best practices and is more geared towards the sales side of things. And our team internally at Ingram Micro is also well-versed in the movement up the Cisco partner stack, and we can assist our reseller partners with things such as express specialization and applicable Cisco incentive programs. Like we talked about, we're also incorporating the CMSP program into the voyage and always want to encourage our partners to get enrolled if interested and are really trying to get involved in that along the voyage as much as possible. So really, there are many things along the way to help enable our partners when it comes to Meraki, and both Ingram Micro and Cisco see the benefit in that. So at any time, resellers who may be interested can reach out directly to myself at Ingram Micro, and we can get them enrolled in that.
You know, the Meraki Voyage program is a huge asset for Cisco partners. And I just want to reiterate that if you're just starting to learn about Meraki, if you're just starting to learn about Cisco, so you're at the very start of your journey, you want to become trained on the product, enabled on from a sales perspective, this is a great program. But also, if you've already been on your Meraki journey, this is a great program to help you grow and expand your business. So I just want to reiterate that this is a great program for Cisco partners at any point in their journey with the Cisco product line.
And if a small business is wondering right now how they could better manage their cloud, do you have some suggestions of maybe the first few things that they could do at this point?
I got some thoughts. First off, one of my things when I talk to customers is just understand, first off, what cloud solutions are you using today, right? You may not think that you're adopting all these different things as a business, but are your associates already using separate, maybe non-standard cloud offerings to do their daily functions? So just understanding the workforce, understanding what's being developed today will help you gauge what you can invest in from a standardized practice. More so, you also maybe as a business want to adopt, your cloud strategy. You're thinking of certain products and components that you want to go in with. But again, understanding the needs of your employees and customers would help drive some of that unity of what they want, what you think they need, and then together you can build out really that right offering that moves that solutioning into the cloud for that management approach. Another thing that I think is very important is making sure that we're talking about managing the cloud is also, are we doing that securely? We're thinking about a secure managed cloud environment. And we talked a little bit about Meraki, how they were natively built as a cloud solution, and that's cloud networking. That's your core, route switch wireless devices as a great way to offer a managed practice to your customers by say, hey, we'll own your network. We'll help you build that solution. And if you have problems and you need troubleshooting or tickets, you can reach out to us and we will be that managed service for you. We will be the first line of defense to help you with that environment. And Meraki's great about doing that because they have a whole MSP portal that allows you as a customer to go in and see all the end users you have maintenance for, even up to the point where you could actually add their customer logo and branding and dashboard view for their experience if you want to hand over some responsibilities to their local IT staff and some responsibilities to you as an MSP. But that's just one step of it. Cisco has a wealth of great cloud offerings, from DNS protection like Cisco Umbrella, anti-malware protection with Cisco AMP, network analytics with things like StealthWatch Cloud, and then even investing into multi-factor authentication with the inclusion of Duo as a cloud component. These are all things that you can tie together as a suite of solutions of not just networking, not just security protection, but a whole secure cloud environment, let alone working through the programs and offerings we have here to build out a complete cloud solution set, even bridging beyond the Cisco way.
That's great, Dan. I think you hit the nail on the head with a lot of the things that you've said. One of the things that I would add is talk to your customers about what their business goals are, right? We're no longer in the era where it's all or nothing. We're not going to customers and saying, hey, put everything in the cloud or put nothing in the cloud, right? Talk to them about what their business goals are. Does the cloud make sense to help them reach their business goals? Maybe it's a hybrid approach. I'd also encourage you to talk to other partners, get into a community learn about the products that have the best solution, the best pricing, the best consumption model. Talk to your peers about their experience with their vendors, and then, do your research through your peer community. And then, like Dan said, security. It's just a rough world out there right now. Make sure you always consider security if you're offering cloud managed networking or if you're offering SaaS business apps in the cloud. Just make sure that security is always on your mind. It's not only a profitable decision as a partner, but it's also the best decision to keep your customers safe. Those are my 3 things.
And I would agree with everything that's been said, honestly. Working on the day-to-day internally with my team, just seeing that cross-solutioning between security and umbrella, things like that. We see it on a day-to-day basis. So it is on the top of mind for our partners, and we can definitely help you out with that.
And if somebody that's listening wants to learn more about what we discussed today, or wants to connect with either of you and ask questions, where can they do that online?
For me, it would be simply to just Google the Ingram Micro Business Transformation Center. The first result you'll get will take you to the page and the team that I work with for all the training, development, engagement we can do with you. That would be my best option there.
And if you want to learn more about the Cloud and Managed Service program through Cisco, you can go to cisco.com/go/CMSP. You can get all the information there. I highly recommend you check it out.
And from an Ingram Micro Meraki Voyage perspective, like I said, I'm going to be the point person for that and can get anybody enrolled at any time. And you can reach out directly to me at kevin.wills, WILLS, @ingrammicro.com.
So one of the questions we like to ask on this show, and this is for each of you personally, is where do you see technology going in the next year? And Dan, we'll start with you.
Great. My point of view in that would be really looking at things as a digital transformation, right? So taking industries that may not have adopted IT or not looked at ways to build out a practice where technology can come and do things like give you business analytics and insight, taking devices that are not quote unquote smart and adding intelligence to them, adding outcomes to them, and really improving the workforce, the engagement with your own employees, your customers in a much more intuitive and data-rich way. The way I think we're going to do that is really to continue to drive that approach through that Internet of Things, that IoT opportunity, where we're seeing more and more devices add to our environments, add to our networks. And as the more devices that we have, that's prime for seeing data. And with data, we now can know something and then take action on that. And that's really where I see the technology going is more of it, which is great, but doing something with it for a proactive outcome because of everything we do know about our environments today through things like IoT.
I can build on that as well. I was going to actually touch on a specific example that Meraki was able to present me with recently, and it's how Meraki worked with the U.S. Open, which is a golf tournament, to kind of drive exactly what Dan was talking about, to transfer that data over a miles and miles long golf course that in years past was never able to be outfitted with that sort of solution. It really enabled fans to have data, real-time data about the golf tournament at their fingertips. And, in the past, not being able to have any of that information and having to, rely on that human-to-human interaction, it's really changed the way something like that golf tournament, that sporting event, has been outfitted from a technology standpoint. And it was the most connected golf tournament, ever in our history. So it was unique because it was a Meraki example as well. But, moving forward, I think, you'll see more and more of that in real-life examples.
And I agree with both of you guys. And mine might be a little bit more on the obvious side, but mobility. Our connectivity is going to get faster, and we are going to be able to process more and more information on our phones. So I see a lot of apps coming out. You already see a lot of apps coming out, right? But we're going to be able to do more and more things on our phones. We're going to be able to connect smaller devices quicker And I think that's just going to give everybody a more personal experience, sort of like what Kevin was saying, but it's also going to drive the need for security. I think security and privacy are going to become even more important issues for our partners and our distributors and our vendors to really keep in mind as they're building technology solutions, making sure that we have the security around them, because everybody is walking around with a little computer with so much personal information and even business information on their phone. That's where I see technology going.
Well, thank you so much, Dan, Kevin, and Amy, for being here and sharing your knowledge with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
If you like this episode or have a question, join the discussion on Twitter at Ingram Tech Soul with the hashtag B2B Tech Talk. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro.
You've been listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, Cisco Edition, taking your business a level up, hosted by Carrie Roberts. B2B Tech Talk is a joint production by Sweetfish Media and Ingram Micro. Ingram Micro production handled by Laura Burton and Christine Fan. To not miss an episode, subscribe today in your favorite podcast platform.